Hey coaches, so I wanted to make a video showing you some of the new features of Streak that I think you'll find really helpful. If you watched my previous video about Streak, then you've likely already set up your boxes, so this will just be kind of an addition to that. I've been doing this for a couple months using Streak this way, and it's been awesome. There's a lot more benefits than when I made that first video by using it the way I'm going to explain. So let me just go ahead and jump into it. So first of all, I usually have all of my people, the people who are using Streak, I'm assuming are diamond and above, which means you probably have a mass amount of people contacting you. I don't recommend this necessarily for brand new coaches. I think it's a lot for them to be taking on. Pen and paper, I feel like, is sometimes best for new coaches. So this isn't something I really introduced to coaches until I feel like they have a pretty good customer base, or maybe emerald coaches, but really I think this is better for the diamond and star diamond coaches who just have a mass quantity of people contacting them. So anyway, I teach them to do the woohoo forms because it makes it so much easier. So I went ahead and I filled out the fake form so I can show you how I do this. So first of all, let's just appreciate the fact that I only have one email in my inbox, because that is the whole goal, is to make sure that everyone is somewhere and I don't lose track of anybody. So that's what all my pipelines are for over here. So I'll show you guys that here in just a second. But anyway, so the way that I do it is I have people send woohoo forms. And I have right here the most important columns, or the most important pipelines that I use. So I have a pipeline for my power hour, and then I have a pipeline for challenge group prospects, and then I have one for coach prospects. I also have one for my current challenge group. I think those are the most important that people are probably going to be making. So for like the coach or the challenger prospect one, that's what this would kind of be in. But if I'm hosting a pretty big, like this was a test group for hammer and chisel, so I really wanted to make sure that I was focusing on this group. I will go ahead and create another pipeline for that. So I do have a free test group for this, and I hit everybody's names, so their names would normally be right here, but you'll probably notice something that looks different over here. So I've added checkboxes, I've added some other stuff here that you guys are going to find really helpful. So you'll see over here I have programs. I'll show you how I use this to the best of my ability, but say I have this free test group, and I have all these little columns over here, which I'm going to show you how to do that. And I want to, this is a free test group for hammer and chisel, but let's just say it was a free clean eating group. And I know that the people, what programs people have done in the past. So let's just say I wanted to, message anybody who was interested in coaching. So anybody who clicked yes for coaching, because maybe I'm hosting a group, so I know you can't see their names, but any of these people that would have popped up said that they were interested in coaching. And you'll see that column here, and that's a drop-down box. So you'll see yes, no, maybe here. And so what I can do is just select all of this, send mass email, and invite them to my next coaching opportunity. So how awesome is that? Super, super easy. Something else that you can do, say this is, you're getting ready to host a 21-day fix group, and you just want people to keep going on their journey or whatever it might be, you can go to programs, and then is in any of, I'm going to click on 21-day fix and 21-day fix extreme. So that's going to pop up anyone who has done 21-day fix or 21-day fix extreme. And then I can click and send a message that says, hey, I'm hosting a 21-day fix group. I'd love for you to join us, just to get everybody kind of back on track. So you can do it that way. Or if something's like a similar program, like we were saying, hammer and chisel. Something else that you could do is have a follow-up date. So you'll see this where you can add in the date. So if I was looking for people I haven't followed up with, I can actually go through here and format it to newest to oldest, or sort newest to oldest. I could do it like this, and these are people who I need to follow up with. Now I don't have any of those marks. I actually just added that box. But if I had followed up with people, they would have already showed up, and then I know the people who I needed to follow up with, and they would be there. So the other thing is invited to coaching. So I could say I invited these 3 people to coaching, then I went to filter it. I could filter it using, let me clear this. So I could filter it by coaching, and Oh, we already did that one. But anyway, if they selected yes, it would be, or if I invited them, sorry, invited to coaching. That's what we were doing. Invited to challenge group. So if invited them to challenge group is checked, so that means I invited them to a challenge group. That means I haven't invited anybody yet, which our group is still it still has a couple more days. So I haven't invited anybody just yet. So that would show up if I had invited them, and that would tell me, hey, I need to follow up with them. So that's how I kind of use it, and that's how it can be really beneficial for you as well. Now, you don't have to have like a different group for everything that you do, but that just makes it more simple for me. And then if I transfer someone from group to group, you want all this information to go with them. So let me just show you how I set this up. So let me go to my challenge group. I'm going to clear this. So these are my people that are actually challenge group prospects. So it's the same thing. So I have different stages of my conversations right here. But then I also have, people I've followed up with, people if they're on Shakeology. So if I go here, you're going to see, and I put no if they had said like, no, I've never tried it before. But if somebody ordered it in the past, I might say they had one order, or they were past HD, or they're currently on HD, or they ordered a sampler. Then I also have their programs that they've purchased and what they're interested in over here. And those are little tags. So it's important to make those tags, because those tags are what make that searchable for up here. So whenever I go in here, and I go to interested in, so anyone who's interested in 21-day fix, it's going to pop up the people who were interested, who actually said, I'm interested in 21-day fix. And then invited, the date that I've invited them, and the date that I followed up. So those are the things that I add to there. So let me just go ahead and set up a brand new pipeline to show you how I do this. So go to sales. And this first one, I'm just going to go up here and copy straight from here. So I've got customers. I've got contacted. And instead of drawing all this out, like I have different stages, I'm just going to say in convo. So say you're in conversation with them about it, and then sent link. And then add to group and last chance. And then I'll also have a stage that usually says like invite to free group. If they didn't respond, or if they said that they couldn't afford it right now, I'll invite them to a free group later. So say that this is the group. I want to keep the name here, obviously. I do want to keep the stage there for reasons. I don't need the deal size, so I'm going to delete this. I don't need this, I'm going to delete that. And I don't really need the notes there either. But what I do want to add are these little things where I have the columns. So I want goals, and that's going to be a free form, because I'm going to type in their goals or copy and paste it. And then I want coaching, and I want that to be a drop down question and answer. So I'm going to click on drop down. And then I want purchase, and that's going to be a tag. And that can be programs too. I'm going to call it programs. Makes it a little bit easier. So that's like programs they've purchased. I'm actually going to put that here so I remember to change that later. And then Shakeology is going to be a drop down. So drop down. And it's important too, as you're creating these pipelines, like this is going to be my challenger prospect group or pipeline, that your pipelines have similar columns like this, because then when you move someone from column to column, you want to make sure that that information goes with them. And if that column isn't there, it's not going to go with them. Membership, and I want that to be a drop down. And I'm going to exit that. I don't really need that. And then I want invited to coach is going to be a checkbox. oh, not invited to coach. Yes, it is invited to coach. Oops. Invited to coach. And that was a checkbox. And then I want interested in as a tag. And make sure you write it the same in each pipeline too. I know that's annoying, but once you get it set up, it's easy to do. And then I want source. It's going to be a drop down. So source. Let's keep going here. And then Facebook page, phone number, and address. Those are going to be free form. So Facebook. Actually, I think the way that I write it is Facebook page, because I want to make sure I write it just the same on every column. So Facebook page, free form, phone, free form, address. Okay. And it seems like a lot, but I promise once you've done this, it makes it super easy. And once you have a group set up, all you have to do is go down to it and go to that, and then create a similar pipeline. It will copy all those boxes for you and all the columns. So the things that I don't need to see when I go into this pipeline, I don't need to see this, so I'm not going to delete it, but I am going to hide it. I'm going to hide source. I don't need that. Don't need that, and I don't need this. So then whenever I come to the group pipeline, this is all I really want to see are these things. This just kind of helps me, categorize everybody. And you don't want to delete the stage because you'll end up, it's just much easier. Just don't do that. So what happens is I get a WooFoo form. So say I get a WooFoo form, and this is for the test group, but I'm going to pretend that it's for a challenge group. So what I'll do is I just copy their name before I do anything else, before I even read through it, and I'm going to create a pipeline. So I'm going to create it, and I want it to be in my challenge prospects, but this is my actual one here that we're working on in this video, and you'll see all of that stuff listed over here in just the order that we added it. So then I'm going to copy their phone number, and I'll put that down here. Their goals. Now I filled this out really quick. Usually the people who fill these out leave a lot more information. I want to see if yes, they are interested in coaching. So I want to add that. So see where it says no options added? Then I can create that option. Or you can go in here to manage options. You can manage options, add options, no, maybe. And then programs, I want to add their programs. As you can see, I don't have any added yet. So the programs that they have done, P90X, create tag. They've done insanity, create insanity tag. And then T25, create tag. And again, this is one of those things where you want to make sure that you write them the same in each pipeline so that when you transfer them, they go with it. 21-day fix. So those are the things, and let's say, no, they haven't tried Shakeology. That's all the information I really know about them, and you can add to the notes if you want. So let's say I sent them an email and I contacted them. So now that person is going to be in my Challenger prospect pipeline that I've contacted them. Now when I go to their pipeline, I can see what programs they've done in the past, which I could actually remove this if I want to. So I could remove it if I didn't want it there. But I do want it there just because I want to see what kind of programs they're interested in. Let's say that they did say they were interested in Fix Extreme. Create that label. Whoops. So what's really awesome is that I can actually, and let me add this too so that I don't forget, but I also want to add a followed update in here. Whoops. And then that way I know when I followed up. But let's say I want to, like I have a whole list of people and I want to see who I followed up with, who I haven't, I can filter it. But let's say I wanted to maybe even, I guess you could search for goals too, like if you wanted to search for specific goals. But I could actually go in here and let's say anybody who was interested in coaching, yes, then I can look at their information. Now, when I go into this person's box, you'll see the information over here, which I can easily change. Now, let's say this person, she was a prospect. Now she's actually in my group. Or maybe she became a coach prospect at that point in time and she's interested. Maybe she was in my my event for coaching. Then what I could do is go to my coach prospects, and it says, warning, you're about to move this box. So these things are going to be lost. Coaching, programs, and the reason programs is going to be lost is because I have actually listed as purchased in the other group. So that's why you want to make sure that, let me go to coach prospects. So let me hide all my names here. But in here, you'll see I have it as purchased. So if I go over here to my group that I was just in, and I change this to purchased, now you'll see when I move this, that won't be there anymore, or that issue won't be there. So now you'll see that it's fine. So it doesn't transfer anything that's not in the other box. So that tells me that I need to add interested in to my coach box. So I'm going to make sure that I add that in there to my coach pipeline, which I was supposed to add. I just haven't added it yet. And then Facebook page I need to add into the coach prospects, and phone and address. So those are things I want to make sure are in there, or it's not going to get transferred. So you want to make sure that happens. But when I do transfer it, all that information will be here again. So that's really, really awesome. And to be able to do that is so helpful. So you can kind of see the way that I've done this. If I go to these now, I wonder if it'll let me kind of expand, but like these are my dream team list. And instead of having the date, I just have, because sometimes having the date there is going to make it a little bit more confusing for me. But I have invited and then followed up, and then I have the date over here. So I have like a little checkbox. So you could do that as well. But what's going to happen is if you followed up with that person in another group, it's going to bring that same date over. So you'll just want to make sure that you know that going forward. But if they've been on Shakeology, all of that stuff will transfer over. So once you've set up your groups, it makes it super easy to do. Now, like in this group, I could easily go to filter and sort. Let's go with people who I have not followed up with. So it's unchecked. These are all the people I haven't followed up with. So that's a lot of people that I could potentially follow up with. These are people who are in the stage of not right now that I could follow up with, people I've been in conversation with that I haven't followed up with. So instead of having the date, sometimes I think the little checkbox is easier, but if you do transfer somebody from one box to another, just make sure that you know that it's going to take that information with you. You want to make sure it's in that other one. Let's say that, let's clear this. Let's say that I want to, let's see, anybody who's on Shakeology HD. This is going to show me the people who are on Shakeology HD that I have in my potential coach group here. And so those are people who I could look for. And then you can add even more. So I could go in here and even add, not that they're, let's say that I want it to be someone who I haven't followed up with, who has purchased. Now I'm just going to do something random. Let's see. Who has purchased? Let's just sort A to Z. So then it sorts it out just like that in the different columns. So anyway, guys, I hope that that helps. If you have any questions, let me know. I found this super, super helpful. And what's really awesome is you can actually export these. So if you had to export, or if you wanted to export, you can export it into Excel. But that's what I found really helpful with these. Like if I go into my current challenge group, I'm gonna hide their names here. But if I go into all of my active people, you're gonna see like I've invited these people to coaching. So what I could easily do is go in here and sort from Z to A, which is gonna say the people who I have invited down to the people I haven't invited. So you can see the people in each stage who I have and haven't invited. I can also, on the source, I can see where I added them. Now on this one, I added the source as a tag. That might be something you want to do too if you're unsure where they came from. Like if it was an ad and they came from your like page, you can change this into a tag. So on this, I have dropdown, but that could also be a tag because I sometimes have people who are interested, who came from 2 different sources, just so I can keep track of that. And if you're wanting to track, like let's say I want to see if I'm getting a lot of people from my ads, I can go to ad, and I can see the people who came from the ad, or coaches. Like I could go to my current coaches and look through there and see how many of them actually came from an ad. So I can actually track what is coming from those. So that's really important as well. So anyway, guys, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, just let me know. Bye.